All right, we're live. Hi, Amy. Can you hear me, Amy? Oh,
Hi, Rob.
you can hear me. Good. So, welcome
I can
everyone
hear you.
to Kelowna Now. I'm Rob Capello. Today, I'm joined by Amy Nicole Cohen from the Chic Experience. Amy, thank you for jumping in. I know you're out of town, so thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
Always a pleasure. It's my favorite place to be.
Love it. So today we're going to talk about an event you have coming up next week, the Summit Kelowna. It's a 2-day
hmm
event, and it's going to cover a whole bunch of stuff we'll talk about, and it's going to be at the Delta Grand, February 7th and 8th. Um, are you ready? Are you freaking out? Do you like freak out as the days get closer? Are you calm and cool, collected? Like what's going on right now?
That's like a loaded question, Rob. I'll give you the short. So, as most people in events, there's so many logistics. There's behind the scenes, there's side scenes, there's, up, down, all around. I love and thrive through planning and organizing and, bringing things together. So, I am cool and calm. However, I will say, and you made a point, I am away. So, part of the marketing and the planning. Really the pressure is on. But I will kind of wrap that in a bow because as much as the pressure is on, we know for anybody listening, the Okanagan, people like to wait. And this is an event. I encourage you not to wait because you want a seat at the table. You want to be in the room. So it's going to be a full house. It is a fabulous event that we will chat more about. But I'm feeling really, really good about it.
Love it, love it. So, and I agree. It's you know what, it happens. I find we're just talking about our event tomorrow, and a lot of tickets are being sold the last couple of days. So Amy, if you could describe for people that aren't familiar with the summit, if someone asked you what it's about in the least amount of words you can
Sure thing.
say, what would you tell them? What would be the elevator speech of what the summit is?
Yeah, it's a 2-day business and leadership conference. So it is all about our keynote speaker elevating and bringing the most renowned, just conversation and inspiring talk. We have workshops, breakout sessions, incredible just abilities to connect. This isn't just about networking, but it's really about building authentic connections and being together. I love conferences and I love them being more than one day because you can, find your people and really leave so inspired, but also with abilities to continue to thrive or maybe crack into areas within your career or your company that haven't yet just from being around your like-minded people. So, yeah, it's a 2-day conference that is very curated
Mm.
for individuals attending to up level, to be inspired, and to really see growth in their businesses.
Love it. So, people that are going to come to the summit, what sort of energy can they expect? Like, what's the vibe in the rooms? Like, what? Because I know your events are not like other events. So, how would you describe sort of the energy in the rooms and sort of what the vibe's like?
Well, the vibe is definitely going to be very welcoming and inspiring.
Mm.
I mean, I'm usually at the front welcoming people. I do have a team. I'm so grateful. But the people that are attending, the sponsors, the ticket holders that I know and see, purchasing are those that are very ambitious, that are incredibly curious about knowing more, having information, being on the pulse of change. They are not, the ones that are sitting back. They're the ones that are constantly on the edge of change or teetering to, want to be part of something bigger for their businesses or for themselves. So, they're ambitious entrepreneurs and executives for sure.
Love it. So I'm excited to hear the keynote. So you mentioned who's going to be there. So let's talk a little bit
hmm
about the lineup. What makes this year's speakers like really stand out and some really cool sessions? You got stuff on podcasting. Like there's some really neat stuff. So can you maybe just highlight what people can expect from this year's speakers and sessions?
Yeah, so the format of the schedule really welcomes somebody to come for, 1 day or two. I encourage two because they're not the same speakers either day. But this is a full program where you really have, for those people that haven't come to a Chic event before, if you see 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., have, like don't overthink it. It's not packed to exhaustion. It is full of inspiration, right? Imagine like going on a trip and just wanting to pack everything in. You're just like, I wouldn't want it any other way. So it is a full schedule, but we've got, our keynote, David Goatler. He's an incredible, world-renowned athlete. He's a mountaineer. He is a leadership expert. He has been doing this his whole life. He is flying in from Geneva. He is represented by some of the top sport companies in the world. He travels around the world. This is his first time coming to Canada, and I'm incredibly honored to have him coming to the Okanagan. So, somebody with his regard, it's not only him as a person, it's everyone who gets behind somebody of that stature, that top level of athlete, which coming to the Okanagan is an honor, I feel, and I'm incredibly excited to hear him. He's got a incredible keynote that is around an hour, that is with a presentation with some really exciting photos and videos of his story. And then we're going to move that into a Q&A so people can really feel connected to him. And he'll join a panel. But also you asked about some of the other speakers. We've got like every single speaker is an expert in their field, in leadership, in scaling businesses, in marketing, in podcasting. Riley from Cliphouse is setting up a podcast studio, which is super exciting for anybody that wants to experience that. Super reasonable price point, and you can book an appointment with him and have the full experience to see if you want to invest in that. And then you're speaking on AI, which I'm super
Hmm.
excited about. So there's a lot of high level knowledge and experts in that room.
Love it. Yeah, no, there it's an action packed, but but like you said, I think it's a whole experience, and that's one thing that I'm excited to take in as well because
Hmm.
I've never been to one of your events, so other than some smaller events you've ran, but I'm curious to see the whole experience side, the element, and maybe can you talk a little bit
Hmm.
more about that? Like you have some real unique activities that are be happening through the day. I think you have a massage thing going on. Like you have some really cool things that are happening. So can you give a little
Hmm.
sneak peek on what people might be a little bit pleasantly surprised when they show up?
Absolutely. So, any chic event, I'm a big believer of I want to feel like I wish I was nowhere else. And in order to do that, it's not just about listening and absorbing and taking it in and talking and energy out. It's really about energy in as well. So, we do have a wellness suite that's open to all. We've got mini massages, we've got scalp massages from incredible experts in their field, that this is what they do professionally. We have gifting on a whole nother level, from brands and businesses that are part of this. So I really believe in the uniqueness of a brand being showcased, not just, thrown in a swag bag to, attend to later or give it away because you think it's, you don't
Yeah.
really know what's in there. So everything is personalized and customized, and meant for everybody to feel incredibly VIP. Even if you got a gold ticket, which is great, you have access to everything. VIP is an elevated ticket, and it's going to be amazing.
Love it. So you host other summits like in different places, literally all over the world. So I'm curious why Kelowna? Like, so it's a lot of work to put these on. We know it. Like, what makes Kelowna sort of that perfect place for something like this? Because you mentioned like that speaker, the keynote, like first time in Canada. Like that's pretty cool. Like,
Hmm.
so what attracts from other than you live in Kelowna, but what attracts you to host here? And because you're literally all over the place, you're hosting things all over the world. So,
Yeah, I do pause, in thinking about that answer. It's not one that gets asked a lot. It's usually, like just assumed because I do live in the
Yeah.
Okanagan. But honestly, Rob, it's more than that. It is about I come from a really small town, and I happen to be here as we're speaking. And I was not surrounded by entrepreneurs, let alone ambitious entrepreneurs, those that wanted to, crack open more in their career or adventure or collaborate. And when I went to college, I found community and loved, being around entrepreneurs. And so moving to the Okanagan, it became part of, yes, who I am, but also what I want for everyone else. Because I say it a lot, but knowledge is power, and
Hmm.
you don't have to travel around the world. You do not have to have a roadmap like I have. But I really think everyone needs to be more curious to learning and be listening a little more, attending workshops, choosing to, attend events like this, but also events that you're putting on. I feel like people need to prioritize this
Yeah,
throughout their whole career and lifespan. It doesn't stop,
I
shouldn't
agree.
stop.
I agree. I 100%. I'm a big believer of you always can learn. You can always learn more, like all the time. Doesn't matter where you're at. But
Hmm.
I'm curious, actually, Amy, how did you come up with the concept of the summit? Like, how did that? I'm always curious. Like, are you sitting around the dinner table and like, I'm going to take this on and host a 2 day event and stress myself out? Like, so how did that idea come together?
So the idea came together. So when I moved to the Okanagan, I was solely running my makeup schools.
Hmm.
So education based in beauty, and which I still do, but I don't do it full time anymore. COVID changed a lot of things. Also, my commitment to my career and my expansion was a priority for me. And in going through that discovery, I realized like I do love learning, and I love uh if you think about college, like a non-credited course, do they call that here in Canada, like where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
take a
yeah,
course, it might just be a weekend course,
yeah.
but very, yeah, so very specific to your interest or your ambition of pursuing something. So a business and leadership conference can be so broad, which we all know. You could just do a 2 day marketing conference. You could do a
Yeah,
2
yeah.
day advertising conference,
Hmm.
digital media, whatever. Business and leadership felt very true to what I believed could be, um, leverage a lot of great speakers, be something that wasn't happening in the Okanagan. There was, versions of,
Right.
or iterations of, parts of it, but to have this be a baseline, that my vision would be that you look forward to this every single year. And it happens to be in February on purpose. I want to spotlight
Mm.
areas around our community that are in lower shoulder seasons. I also, a summit is the top of a mountain, and it is the top of the year, and it should be something in education that you prioritize. Rolling into spring, and maybe you have kids, or coming off the back end of the holidays, and that different mindset. This is really for you and your career. So that it's a loaded answer, but at the core of it, it really comes down to wanting it in the Okanagan, because it wasn't happening.
I love it. I think it's amazing. So I'm curious. You go through all this planning. Saturday, Sunday happen. Monday comes along. How do you unwind? What are you doing? Are you like, no, I'm moving on to the next one, or do you feel like you need a few days to recover off the high, or do you use that adrenaline to keep going?
I have come to become an expert in this of what works, best and right for me, because it has not always been this way. So I will give you the answer today that I will do moving forward and have done recently. Uh, so I definitely during an event, as you know, I don't have time to soak everything up, but I do choose to be very grounded during it. So I'm very present, I'm very grounded. I do a lot of planning beforehand. And so after the event, I go into kind of, usually I'll stay at the venue. This happens to be Delta Grand, which is an amazing venue downtown Kelowna, overlooking the Okanagan Lake. And so I quiet down and I do everything after. So come, Wednesday, Thursday will be from an event standpoint, organizing and decompressing. But Monday after the event will definitely be just solitude.
Love it. So where do you like? Where do
But
you
I will
get?
add,
Oh,
Rob,
so yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I will add to that that I do have incredible people that do. I have an assistant that works with me throughout, all things I do. I have two, and then I do have a team that will help support each event. So I do get like social media out and
Right.
recaps and that sort of thing. So, I give myself some grace, but it's also part of planning. Yeah.
Well, and you should. It's fair. It's nice to soak it in afterwards as well, because you during the day you don't get as much time for that. But I'm curious, like, where's the reward come from for you when you bring these type of events? Like, where like when
Mhm.
you sit back on the Monday, Tuesday, what are you looking for from yourself? Saying, yeah, that was a success,
Mm.
and I know everything success is different for everyone. I get that. So from you though, where's the rewarding part?
I love that you asked me that. I've actually never been asked that, but my husband has made a point multiple times for different events to make sure it's not a vanity,
Yeah.
show in the sense of not, me doing, but where it's like, is it actually going to be profitable? Is it actually going to be something that you're going to build upon? And for years, I do sit back and look at that. I don't always know, especially because the Okanagan is a bit of a different market.
Yeah.
I do events, as you mentioned earlier, in New York. I do retreats around the world. But I really feel the most proud and um, purposeful with the reason I do these events through uh,
Mhm.
executing the top talent, executing the knowledge that people are going to actually receive. So I do take things personally. But I try not to, but I do in the sense of I only want to deliver the best and I only want to bring the, you know,
Mhm.
top, experiences. So I do take pride in what the whole picture is and looks like.
Interesting. So, if someone's listening, they're on the fence about attending. What's your mic drop reason for them to be there?
Well, David will not be back, I'm sure. So you've got this incredible human who, travels around the world, and maybe he will be back, and that would be wonderful. But he is one of the most inspiring people on the planet. His story, he'll share his story, but it is one of like few people in the world have ever achieved what he has. Um, and to kind of be in that amazing presence in a very positive way, but also the people in the room, like,
Mm.
I am so grateful for all of the incredible sponsors that have come to the table for this event, but all of the attendees that see the value in it. And the topics and the insight and the tangible tools that every person that is going to attend is going to receive is invaluable. So just that, a few $100s and your time valued, I think is priceless.
So, the $1 million question: where do people buy tickets? How do I get my ticket if I'm like, yeah, I'm in?
So attend. Okay, so two ways, both kind of drive to the same, is on the website, thechicexperience.ca, and chic is CIC. CHIC, so thechicexperience.ca, or through Instagram
Mm.
at the_chic_experience. Or if you're on my Instagram, Amy Nicole Cohen, links are there. Um, but the website was recently updated. And by recent, I mean like full schedule is locked and loaded. All of the sponsors representing and showcasing, and I have ATB Wealth proudly, and immense gratitude for being our presenting sponsor. Kelowna Now, you guys are a media sponsor, and just such amazing people behind these businesses and brands that see the value. So get your ticket if you're on the fence and come join me, Rob, a room full of incredible just people that want to up level together.
Love it. Well, Amy, thank you so much. I know you're out of town, like I said, so thank you for taking the time to talk. I think the word I get is it is an experience. Like there's going to be great business leaders, entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
lots of learning happening. I always find these sort of things, like my pet peeve, as you said earlier, is that we always had to leave Kelowna in order to experience these type of conferences, and now we're starting to see them here. So, kudos to you for
Mm-hmm.
taking it on, because I know it's a lot of work. So I think, you always learn something, you always make amazing connections, you always hopefully leave inspired. And even if you just get one little thing out of it, to me, it's 100% worth it. It's definitely
Mm-hmm.
worth it. And if we don't support it, I'll just say it. If you don't support it, well, they're not going to be here again. Like it's plain and simple. Like we do this because we love doing it, but you also, if there's the support isn't there, it's hard to keep running it. So I'm hoping people will support this thing. And like I said, Amy mentioned, I will
Mm-hmm.
be there. I will be speaking. I'll be doing a think tank on AI and marketing as well. So, AI is a hot topic now too. So there's lots of different things that will cover, check a lot of business boxes for sure in mindset. So, Amy, thank you so much for chatting.
Yes.
And like you said, head over to thechicexperience.ca to grab your tickets, or on Instagram. So any last words before we wrap up, Amy?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to drop a couple key elements to
Yeah,
the schedule just before
please
we
do.
wrap it up. So you mentioned think tanks. So this has not been, to my knowledge, done in the Okanagan. I've joined them, attending in other cities, and so um, doing a think tank allows the attendees to be part of the conversation or contribute questions as opposed to just workshop style. So I'm really excited to have some of the workshops facilitated as think tanks.
Yeah.
And then also, we are doing hot seat coaching, which
Mhm.
I feel like even in my career today, uh, like that is so valuable. So if you just think about like something you're sitting with in your business, in your um, you know, brand or at your company, and you get on site from experts with hot seat coaching, I mean, wow, you can actually move the needle on where you are today to where you're going to go tomorrow. So that's super cool. The happy hour, we're calling them happiest hour. We have happy hour hosts. The bar will be open. We've got a DJ both days. We've got a couple pop-up shops, very specific curated pop-up shops. So there's a few in the room. The networking is going to be very, interactive and hands-on. So you don't have to feel like, you have to come with a group. You can come on your own and fit right in perfectly. So I just encourage people to put themselves in the room.
Love it. It sounds like a party, not just a conference. I love it.
An experience.
An experience. Well, Amy, thank you so much for joining me today again. If you're interested, please go to thechicexperience.ca or check out on Instagram as well to grab your tickets before they're gone. And we'll see you there. I hope to see you there. I'll be there for both days, and hope to see you guys there as well. So, Amy, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everyone. Look
Thanks.
forward